Okay, everybody. Hello. This has not happened to me yet, but just happened now. I was recording this VOD review for Psy, or so I thought, and then I glance over at OBS, and what do I see? The start recording button. How lovely for me. So we were probably like 40, 50-ish minutes into this review before I realized it wasn't recording, because I started recording. I know for sure I started recording because I went and looked and it was like, I have a 5-minute video. So after like 5 minutes, the recording said, yeah, I'm just going to stop. I don't feel like doing it anymore. So that's really awesome. Anyway, so we'll go back. We'll back all the way up. And because of this, we are just going to kind of go through quickly this, at least this point, until we catch back up to where I had stopped. So anyways, let me now have to do this whole disclaimer about, everything that's happening in this video and whatnot that I do with most of my videos at the start. So we are looking at Psy. This is Circuit Royale. The last review we did for Psy was also Circuit Royale, but this wasn't a VOD I don't think she was intending on submitting. This was a VOD that I asked her to submit because she sent me a screenshot of the scoreboard and was like, how am I losing this game or whatever. So I just encouraged her. I said, well, if you really want to know, just send it my way and I'll, point out what I can. So that's why this VOD exists. It's also technically silver, I believe, but I don't think that has any merit to it because rank reset just happened and everybody's not where they belong, and Psy is obviously not a silver player. So for all intents and purposes, I'm considering this VOD a gold review because that's where we last were, and it's not like you suddenly got worse, Psy. So this is gold, Circuit Royale, Ashe. Long video, 23 minutes, or long game, 23 minutes, 47 seconds. So there will be a lot to cover here. And as I said, I already did, I didn't get that far, which was really kind of surprising. I was like probably around here-ish. It's like 4 minutes in and it was 40 minutes, or going on 40 minutes. So I guess I had a lot to say, but... And then the only other thing I wanted to say, the only other disclaimer I made before my OBS decided to screw me, was that I apologize if for whatever reason I seem low energy, especially now after having just wasted 40 minutes of my time. I apologize if I seem low energy or off, or if I'm missing anything or whatever. I was at work today, and halfway through my day, my body temperature just plummeted and I was freezing, and I had to put my coat on and my beanie on to warm me up, and I just could not get warm. I stuck it out. I stuck the shift out or whatever, and I'm feeling maybe a little bit better now. I certainly am not all bundled up anymore, so it seems as though my body temperature has regulated itself a little bit, which is nice, but I do still have like a really throbbing headache, and it's whatever. But I apologize if anything comes through like that in this video. But don't worry, I want to be here. Of course, I've been looking forward to this review since it was submitted on Wednesday. It is now Friday, so it took a couple days. I really haven't had any time, but I don't work the weekend here, so I can take this time and put some effort into this VOD like I try to do with every VOD. So, let's get into it. I won't waste any more time talking, and we'll start from here, even though, we're 15 seconds or whatever into the game. One of the things I wanted to point out, and we'll see this here, so I'm just going to cover this really quickly right now, is that Psy, we are not taking advantage of opportune times to use dynamites. So we don't use dynamite, and I think we die and we don't even use dynamite, and we die at all the way back here. So we need to be looking for these moments like this. This is just, chef's kiss. You can't script a better opportunity to use dynamite than what you see right here, as they all round the corner and they're all in the clump, and one dynamite right here screws them. And in my video, I'm just going to stop referencing it, this Curie, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read in the patch notes for season 1 that Curie no longer cleanses on her teleport. So that is an insane change. I love it to death. I think Curie is such a horrible character, and is only truly really high level people can play her effectively, but that's another rant. I won't go on. Anyways, she's incredibly annoying, and just having that get out of jail free card with TP to cleanse all status effects and whatever just broken. So they remove that. So now if you dynamite her and she teleports, she's still going to be burning, which is huge. It's incredible for you, especially. So a dynamite here wouldn't even be close to being wasted, because if you just hit this Ana and Curie, well, then Ana and Curie are burning. If you hit the Ana and Junkrat, well, then Ana and Junkrat are burning. And probably, realistically, you force cleanse, which cleanse is really strong. So use your abilities. Use your abilities. Also, the other thing, which we'll see here in a second, is we stay in this position way too long. This hazard is posturing and staged to make a dive across here. If we watch this hazard's body language, walking up here, okay, looking around, trying to get a feel for everything that's happening around him, and then he's staring straight at us. He's staring straight at us. He jumps out, and he's still looking over here, and then he's slashing. So we stay here way too long, way too long. We're not respecting this tank whatsoever, and we don't even try to disengage. Like, we don't coach, we don't do anything to like prevent this hazard from taking this space. We just kind of sit here, and we get to pick on the Bastion, which is nice and good job. And by the way, dynamite opportunity is still insanely valuable here, but like, we should be reading, and we should be reading this hazard, because we can see him here out of the corner of your eye. So as soon as I see this in my field of view out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, okay, this hazard's posturing, staging to dive this. I'm probably already starting to walk back over here, because I just don't want to get caught out by this haz. And preferably, if he's going to use abilities, I'm going to make him use them early before his actual engage. So if he decides that he wants to wall me off over here, which by the way is 100% this play, 100% the play, and this hazard played really, really poorly, or at least unoptimally, I'll say, because he engages on your Hanzo and he walls your Hanzo off. But like, I don't care. Good job, you get to pick on the Hanzo, whatever. But a wall right here completely shuts you and the Hanzo off from escaping, and then ideally he makes the same dive, and this Hanzo is pressured out into the open in front of the rest of his teammates, and you probably die and whatever. So it's really, you're staged and positioned here for like a 2-for-1. And anyways, so yeah, we just don't really respect him here. He makes a play on the Hanzo. And you get the Bastion, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. There we go. We finally coach and we're out, but we're still getting chased. And you know, all this entire time, their team is allowed to just take all this space, because you can't do anything here. You just can't. You have to run. You put yourself in a position where you have to run or die. Like, you could 100% stay here if you really wanted to, but your intention, if you were to stay here, should be, I'm going to maximize my damage output. I'm going to go absolutely sicko mode. I'm going to go Rambo. I'm going to throw dynamite. I'm going to drop on the cart. I'm going to, machine gun unscope them. I'm going to do as much damage as I possibly can and be as big of a nuisance as I possibly can before I die, acknowledging the fact that you will 100% die, but at least you'd be making a play. And I wouldn't hate it if you had done that, because you would have already gotten the Bastion. So the worst case scenario is you trade. You trade and you're back to the team fight at a more appropriate time than whatever the heck this is, Sai. Like, what is this? Now we're just running. We've been out of the fight for like 10 seconds and we're still running, and now we're dead. And now we're super staggered. And by the time we get back, like, the cart's going to be over here and it's just going to be really awkward. It's going to be hard to take the space back. So, just you keep that stuff in mind. We're going to keep going. I basically summarized what I had said before. And this was, you're coming up on a somewhat key moment, but it's in a little while here. You have Bob. We're just going to skip ahead till we have Bob here. Oh, I do want to comment on this, actually. This is a good thing to comment on. This is a horrible nano, because obviously we haven't seen it in this video, but the state of the fight is your entire team is all the way back here, and you're just the only one forward. And you are you and have coach gun, so this nano hazard is just an absolute nothing burger. Like, absolutely nothing should ever come from this ever. However, I just want to point this out. Why are we not coaching earlier? Yes, we coach here, but a good hazard, you're dead. It's just a one shot. Goodbye. we don't never ever try to time a movement ability around Hazard Slash. It's just not going to work out, because his slash reaches a lot further than you think it does, and then you have to take into account things like ping, or if he's going to bunny hop at the end of his jump to close that little distance on you, because so you think that you're safe away, but then you think you're far enough away to avoid it, but then he B hops and slashes after the B hop, closes that like extra meter or two of distance, and then you end up taking the slash anyway. And not to mention, this guy's nanoed. We don't want this guy anywhere close to us. So as soon as he jumps, like literally right now, we need to coach. You're still going to have the same effect. You're still going to hit him. You're still going to, you know, break his momentum a little bit, and he's not going to get as close. And you're going to get yourself to safety instead of taking this tons of damage here. And look at what your Maga has to do. Like, your Maga has to back up. The Mercy switched her target onto you because now you're extremely low, and etc, snowball chain effect, whatever. Let's comment on this real quick. You notice your rotation here. We're rotating out to main, which is fine. Obviously Hazard pushes us out over here, and we feel the need to rotate, and I would agree he's a little bit too close for comfort, so let's make a rotation, but we're walking over here when we need to be walking back here, because this is just much safer and we don't really know what's going on downfield. And you can always make this rotation into here, which is really the key element behind coming over here. You have cover, but you also have this easy disengage. So you just really minimize the amount of damage you can possibly take if you just come back here. So just note that. And I like this. I like that dynamite attempt a lot. It sucks that, you know, we miss it, but, you know, it is really good intention here, because if you hit that dynamite, they're screwed. They're screwed. So good job. And then I like this. I think this is great. I think that's 5 gold stars. I love to see that. And it's fine to ignore the tank here. But I walking out this way, I don't know. I think I would rather come swing this way, and so I can still maintain a little bit of a sight line on this Haz, because no, he doesn't go for you, but you know, you see it, like you don't see him at all ever. You do take a look at him right over here, I think. Yep, we see Haz, so we get a feel for where he is, and that's fine. You know, ignore him, absolutely, good job. But we hear him slash right here, and we have absolutely no vision on what he's doing, where he's going, and what his intentions are. So if he had gone for you here, and he probably should have, because you are 1 slash away from dying. So, you know, just pay a little bit more attention. You don't have to be shooting the tank, but we need to have that awareness of where that tank is, because you could have died here. And this is all fine. And then speaking of awareness, yes, this Ana is crazy. And then this is all right. It's whatever. But we kind of miss opportunities to clean up some kills just because we are walking forward through here instead of just, you know, backing up over here and keeping this Maga. You know, you miss a couple things.
Thanks.
But it works out because you get to stagger even more. And this is all fine. And then this is the key element that I wanted to talk about. All fine, all good. You were moving a little bit unnecessarily for a little bit there, but you stopped and you just stood still because nobody was looking at you, so that was really good. Here, this Maga ult isn't horrible. It's not really that bad. It's not... I wouldn't rate this very well if his intention was to do anything with it, like for himself, but as you can see, it causes a lot of panic from the enemy team, and they invest a ton of cooldowns and a ton of resources, including tire. And so for that reason, I think this cage isn't really horrible. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't think it's ideal, but it's not bad. You get a lot of important cooldowns out of the way. And so with that in mind, with tire out of the way, and Cassidy, if you notice, my Cassidy and my Kiri standing in front of us and playing really aggressively and posturing really aggressively because they were trying to capitalize on their tank who went in and died, and, you know, oh well, I'm good on them for trying to mirror their tank's intentions and get in there. But now the state of the fight has changed a little bit. Their Bastion died, but your Maga died. So what does that mean? Well, that's a nice shot. You get the Junkrat. Oh, maybe it wasn't here. Maybe it was this next fight. You get the Hazard. Okay, yeah. Oh no, it was this next fight. It was this next fight. Because for whatever reason, your Cassidy decides to stay pushed up this far, which is wild. Like, why are we this far forward when our tank's not even back yet? Not even close. Not even close. He's just up there by himself playing tank. So this is the point I was talking about, where okay, my Cassidy is really, really far up. We're pushed really far up. But look at the resources we're using for him. We just threw Suzu. He does get out alive. We're healing him now. Mercy's right there. Obviously can't see Mercy, so I don't blame you for not knowing where your Mercy is here. But this Cassidy is still pushed up, and there's absolutely no way he's ever going to live. There's just no way he's going to live this. So there is actually a way that he can. And what is that way? It's if you invest Bob here. I wouldn't do it right now, but watch what happens with this fight. Like, at this point, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm going to Bob now. There's no point. There's no point. They're so spread out. They haven't really committed to anything yet. Your Cassidy is technically still okay right now, but, I mean, he signed his death certificate like 5 moons ago or whatever. So, yeah, here. This is an acceptable time to Bob. Now, I understand maybe why you didn't. It would be a really selfless Bob. Potentially, because it wouldn't really be with the intention to do much with it other than save your Cassidy. And I made an analogy or an anecdote or whatever, where I was in a very similar situation to this, where I was playing Ashe on Lijiang Tower, and I had a Cassidy who was really overextended, and he got himself slept. And because he was so overextended, our team wasn't able to take any other position to help him out, really. So I saw he got slept, and as he was waking up from sleep, or as I thought he was going to wake up from sleep, because you know how typically if somebody gets slept, and especially if they're full health, there's usually an attempt to coordinate a burst amount of damage to kill that sleeping target. So my cast was full health. He was sleeping, so I tried to time it for when he was going to wake up, and I did, and I threw Bob, and sure enough, as he was waking up, the enemy team rounded the corner with the intention to just burst him down immediately. But they couldn't, because my Bob smacked him in the face and said, get the hell back. And, you know, Bob didn't really do anything. Like, they just immediately kited the Bob and were like, oh, well, okay, well, I guess there's a Bob here, so we're not going to engage. But my Cassidy got out alive, and we were able to take the team fight as a full team instead of 4v5. So, yeah, it sucks maybe that I invested in Ultimate, but I had made the decision or made the judgment call that if we lose this fight 4v5, it's not going to be good for us. So I'd rather throw my Bob and get less value with him to ensure that we have a 5v5 fair fight than try to go into a 4v5 with Bob. So this, in my opinion, is an acceptable time to throw Bob. Now, you could throw him either here, which I wouldn't hate. You know, this would be surefire. I'm just trying to save my Cassidy. That's all I'm doing. Or you could throw him over here, because then he has an angle on this. Either one, I think your Cassidy still lives just because it's Bob coming out and their team is going to be chaotic and scrambled, and maybe not. But either way, now would be, I think, a completely acceptable time to Bob. So that's what I wanted to point out there. And unfortunately, your Mercy dies, and then your Cassidy dies. And the tank used jump, and he goes up and leaps over there. And then Ana uses sleep, and as soon as Ana uses sleep, we throw out Bob. So actually, I don't hate this Bob. I just think it's a little late, and if we were going to use it, we should have used it earlier. Because now we're kind of like mid-fight, and 3 of my teammates are dead. So maybe this Curie wasn't quite dead, you know, when you pressed your ultimate, so that's fine. Yeah, so Curie, Curie dies at the same. So 2 of your teammates were dead. You know, so we're already 2 down, and they have a nano hazard on the field. So if this wasn't the case, if this Haz wasn't nanoed, and you hadn't lost both your Mercy and your Cassidy, then this Bob would be fantastic. But because you lost 2 key players, and then happen to lose your third, and this hazard's nanoed and engaged, it's just, this Bob isn't gonna, you know, help you really win this fight. But props, kudos to you for, you know, throwing Bob after sleep, because there you go, Bob can't get slept. And Bastion, I don't know if he has turret form or not, but whatever. Even if he does, your Bob is still going to kill at least one person. And, you know, you just create a lot of attention. And there is technically, feasibly, a world in which you hit this, and then you kill 4 of them. Like, there's definitely still a world where you hit this Bob, and because you hit this Junkrat, you're already doing a bunch of burst damage, and this is where you want Bob to be anyway, so you don't lose anything by hitting Junkrat, so it's actually a really good thing that you did hit Junkrat, so there you go, nice, really nice. And then if you had lived here, you definitely have a chance to just kill 4, but it's unfortunate, And why do we die, by the way? Not really your fault, in my opinion. You just got Junkrat. You got really skill ratted, and then Bastion uses very skillful ability as well. And yeah, that's just rough. So the only thing you could have done differently was just Bob a little bit earlier. So let's keep going. I wanted to draw your attention to this key moment right here. We rotate out with our team, who are desperately trying to prevent this cart from hitting checkpoint. But why are we here? Why do we come over here? What are we adding to our team that our team isn't already doing? Nothing. We're just doing nothing. So what's the solution? Well, if I see all of my team coming this way, then I probably want to take a different angle. What other angle do you have? You have this one over here. So come over here, take this off angle, create crossfire, and you're going to guaranteedly make a difference. Guaranteed. Because this hazard would then have to make a decision. If this hazard decides to jump on you, okay, just run away. But guess what that means? That means this hazard has just used his dive ability and given up all this frontline space, which allows your team, and especially your Maga, to just go, oh, okay, well, I don't care about that hazard. I'm just going to kill everybody behind him that he was protecting with that space he was controlling. So, food for thought there. I definitely would not play here. And the other thing about playing over here in this situation when the cart's about to be here, about to be on the checkpoint, is when you go for this, it's kind of an all or nothing. You're accepting that you're going to die because you just don't have a disengage that will get you out alive, realistically, because it's just really long to walk back here and then come up here. You know, it takes a while, and there's no other routes to take. So theoretically, if your team dies, then you're going to die as well. So you just have to accept that, but acknowledge the fact that coming over here and taking this split in this angle is extremely beneficial. And it doesn't matter if you and your team die, because you need, like, this fight needs to happen. It's whoever wins this fight wins the checkpoint. Like, if they win, they get the checkpoint. If you win, they don't get checkpoint. So either way, you're going to want to have like a team fight where either one emerges victorious, preferably yours, of course. But it shouldn't be like, oh, we need to play safe, you know, we need to not get picked or whatever. Like, no, just go crazy. Go crazy. Like, this point matters. You need to commit, full commit. So that was another key area. I wanted to comment on this. This coach, I'm glad you coach here, really good. I don't like that you coach with no vision behind you, because you don't have eyes in the back of your head. So for all you knew, Bastion could have thrown another one of his ultimate rocket things, whatever they call them, right here. So then you would have just coached yourself right back into it. So a better practice, if you are going to try and escape a Bastional, and I want you to get in the habit of this, is look straight down. Look straight down and coach. Because then you're not risking coaching into another one of his circles, you know? So just coach up. Okay. And then here, I really would have loved it if you had full committed, because, well, look at where your Cassidy and your Maga are. Yeah, they're pushed way, way, way too far up. Yeah, they're throwing. Just go throw with them. Just go throw with them. I don't mean come over here. I just mean deep in your rotation, come over here. You know, like, if they're going to be up there and doing silly things, then, you know, we should be up there and doing silly things too, because now my team is fighting 4v5 while I stand here and suck my thumb. And Bastion walks into you and you almost kill the Bastion, but he gets Kiri healed at the last second. And look, like we retreated all the way back here and we were just sitting there with our bib on, you know, and all of a sudden we've done nothing while our entire team is fighting. And now we're out of position because guess what? Their tank's back. Their dive tank's back and our tank is respawning. Our tank is respawning. He's not even finished respawning yet. So commit. Again, commit. Mirror your tank's intentions, especially if the rest of your team is also doing so. It's, you know, there are situations where you see your tank go crazy and overextend, like just whatever, and you just make the judgment call that, you know, I can't really get there in time to be effective, or if I do go up there, like it would just be me and him, so like my team's not ready to take this fight here, so it's really not advantageous. I'd just be throwing my own life away as well and staggering myself as well instead of taking a team. Like there are reasons, but like your Cassidy and your Mug are up here, your Moira's here, your Mercy was playing in the back, of course, because that's what she does. So everybody was positioned and staged to take the fight right here, and then you were just back here. And you started to come over here, which is really good. But as soon as you took a little bit of chip damage, you just tucked tail and ran. So come over here. Come over here. And look at what your cat's doing. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. So I think we're finally approaching the point where we had left off. I did remember watching this Ana engagement. This is just you reacted slightly too late, right? But I did want to say that in a 1v1 at this range against this Ana, she will always win, even if you hit every single headshot on her, because she's just so far outside your effective range that headshots are just tickling her when she's doing a very consistent, like 70, 80, 90, I don't know, damage to you, and she can just three shot you a lot faster than you can kill her. So that's not a fight I would take. It's fine to maybe have taken a shot at her, but like as soon as I see this, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna win this duel. I'm already out. I'm already moving. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's come up here. So that might just be knowing your matchup a little bit. Nice. Okay. Okay. Alright, so yeah, this is all new to me, which is good. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind you peeling for this, you know, tank here because he is so low. You should definitely kill him. So that's totally fine. Don't use Bob. Good job. Nice. Good job. Alright, let's think about staging. Coach up immediately. Come over here. Walk this way. Be prepared. Be ready. Be here. Be here. Bro, no. Sai, if we are getting shot at, this turret is not going to grow legs and chomp at your feet, bro. Like, just ignore it. Just ignore it. Take this fight. Like, you have plenty of, like, this turret, or this trap, or whatever. Sorry, this trap is a non-issue. It's a non-issue. It doesn't matter if you're getting shot at.
How's it going? Just what I need. Get ready for Bob.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather see you up here. Look what your team's doing. Like, this is the corner that they want to hold. This is definitely the corner they should hold. So are you realistically going to be able to help them hold this corner from over there? No. Your team is fighting 3v5 at the current state, you know? Like, this is horrible. They 100% just walk through and just steamroll you if you and your Cassidy don't move. Like, your Cassidy is playing Sniper High Noon Cassidy now, but he literally just used High Noon the last fight, and I mean, this would be more acceptable for this Cassidy if he still had it, but he doesn't. So like, what does he expect to do? He's going to do 5 damage to these targets as they round the corner. Like, this is horrible positioning from both of you, especially Cass. But we need to be ready to take this fight, and this would be a really nice angle to bob from as well, which you've already, you know, you've already intending to use Bob this fight. You just signaled to your team. You said, hey, I have Bob, guys. Well, why do we want to Bob from here into the cart, into main, where everything is always going to be walking, right? Why don't we want to Bob from over here? So this is thinking about where we want to Bob from and why. So we could just sit here and be a rat and be patient and let them walk through and then swing the corner and throw Bob right here as they're all up here, and then they're screwed. Or alternatively, if you want to be a little bit more active in the fight and just be poking here on their walk up, which is probably what I would recommend, just be up here. Be up here, poke them, and if they get too greedy and they sense an opportunity or whatever and they engage, yeah, throw Bob, throw Bob, throw Bob. But I really don't like this positioning here. Maybe you rotate because you don't see anything, hopefully, after a while. I don't know. Please. Pretty please. That sucks. I mean, look, your team has to back up. So you just gave up all, like literally you, just gave up all of this space. You just gave up all of this space. Oh, and this is a great corner to hold. This is fantastic. This is where you're going to see everybody and their moms and their brothers and their cats and their sisters and their dogs hold this corner because it's a corner. And what other corner do you have to hold? Do you want to hold here? Absolutely not. This feels awkward and clunky. And you don't have a rotation up here, you know, like maybe you do if you want to jump on the trash can. But like, this is not a fun corner to hold. And then you also, like, you just make it really easy for them to walk up over here and angle that. Like, this is just not a good corner. So this is a really nice corner, and you want to hold this as long as you possibly can, and just until you just can't anymore. And so you have allowed yellow team to just walk forward and take all this space away from your tank and your supports because they're the only people up there. So you remember what I said? They're just going to walk this corner and steamroll? Well, that's what they did. Nobody died because at least your tank and your Moira and your Mercy had the wherewithal to understand that, hey, my team is just jorking it in the back. I'm like, we can't hold this, so we're going to back up. So good on them for recognizing that you're throwing, but like, we need to be up here. We need to be up here. Interesting. Yep, make the rotation. Yep. God, we gotta coach earlier, Sai. Coach earlier. Don't. Again, just don't try to time it so that you're coaching him right as he hits the slash. You're just never going to get it. I don't get it. Like I just coach as soon as he jumps. Like now, I'm coaching now. It's just slash. If you don't know, look how far it is. Like, it doesn't feel like it should be that far, but it is incredibly far. Like, you could have been back here and he still would have hit you. You know, maybe like right here, whatever. So it's really far. And then not to mention, if he decides that you could have maybe a little bit of distance on him, you could be back here as he's jumping, right? And then you could be like, oh, well, he's not going to get me. Well, he has a B-hop tech. He has B-hop tech. All he has to do is not jump before he slash engages. Hold spacebar. It's not a hard tech. You just, or whatever jump key it is, he holds jump while he's in the air mid-slash, and as soon as he hits the ground, he does a B-hop while preserving his slash and gains like 2 or 3 extra meters, which is really, really important in a lot of tech that people use on Hazard, myself included, when I was learning Hazard. It's really valuable. It helps you get maybe around a corner at the last second, or in this case, close a little bit of extra distance. So you don't want to give this Hazard the opportunity to slash you. Ever. So coach sooner. And panic Bob. And dang.
Suffer as I have.
No. Okay. Panic Bob kind of worked out a little bit. I'm surprised he has angles on this. I mean, I guess he does. Yeah. You know, if you're going to panic Bob, well, you were just trying to hit the tank, so whatever. Whatever, never mind. It's whatever. It's just a panic Bob. It could have been used a lot better. But yeah, at least you got something out of it because your Bob wasn't completely wasted. Okay, where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go?
60 seconds.
No, now your team doesn't want to hold the corner because they're like, well, it didn't work last time. Gee, I wonder why. Now your Ram is walking up and doing the right thing. Interesting Bastion ult. Really early in the fight. don't use your ult like that Bastion used, which is, by the way, exactly what you did when you were attacking in the last VOD review. You see how this Bastion ult just does nothing? It's obviously a completely different ult, but like, who cares? Who cares? Who is here to capitalize on anything that's happening here? Who gives a crap? It doesn't matter. Nobody's here to capitalize on anything. Like, Bastion's ult doesn't often kill people. It doesn't often kill people. It forces them out of position, which is, you know, how, like, it's how it should be used. Now, maybe every once in a while it can combo it with grab or whatever, you know, or somebody stuck in a junk trap, CC'd in some capacity in some way where they can't escape. Sure, maybe you get to pick that way, you know, that's fine. But Bastion's ult is really, really valuable at saying, hey, oh, somebody's playing over here? Yeah, not anymore. I'm just going to throw my thing here, and they have to move. And where are they going to move? Well, either back here, exposing themselves to more angles this way, or they're going to walk out here and then be screwed either way. So I think this Bastion ult is way too early, and their team just can't capitalize on anything. And basically, that's what your Bob was on this last attack from this last VOD I did for you. That sucks. How did we get stuck here? Was this just the god sleep from the sauna? Yeah, we kind of got distracted. Like, why are we staring at the tank here? This. Okay, I actually understand it. He's low, right? You want to just finish him off? You thought you had an opportunity? Okay, fine. That's fine. I get it. All right, moving on to attack. Oh, yes. And this was another reason I wanted to review this VOD. So, if you don't know a little bit of history about myself, I am a former Widow one-trick. In fact, it wasn't until all that long ago, like a couple years ago, that I finally surpassed my time on Widow by playing Cassidy. So I had hundreds of hours on Widow, and she was just all I played. So although I'm not very much of a good Widow player anymore, because I just do not play her ever, I still know very much how to play her. And so I feel like I can be a pretty good advisor on some of this, and a good coach. So it's nice that, I don't know if you did this, you know, intentionally here, but you remember how last VOD, I don't know if it was you, I think it was you, where I was like, yeah, I mean, Widows always swing over here. Well, yeah, that's what you're doing, because it just opens up the most angles for you, right? So yeah, I like this initial rotation from you, assuming you stay over here.
3, 2, 1.
Calling people jokes, that's awesome.
Escort the payload.
Yeah, sure, fine, whatever. Yep, just be patient, be calm. You know, really important to just read the enemy movement and not make incredible flicks. You know, it works out sometimes, but Widow is such a precise character that more than any other hit scan, you just need to hit the shots to be effective. Like, more than Cassidy, more than Ashe, obviously, because if you don't, then you're not doing anything. Maybe you could argue that you're scaring them, which, to be fair, there is absolutely that factor into Widow. Like, most sane people don't want to poke Widow sightlines at long range, right? Because Widow always will have that advantage. So you can use that knowledge to your ability to control lanes just by scaring people, by saying, they're not going to peek me here because I'm here. So therefore I've opened up this lane that's angled for my team. So there is some credit there, but obviously you want to be hitting some shots too. Otherwise you're going to be like, this Widow can't hit anything. I don't care. Nice calm aim. Yeah. Yep. It's fine. I mean, Widow's boring as hell sometimes, but this is all fine because realistically, where else are you going to go? I mean, you could go with your Hanzo, but your Hanzo's going with your Hanzo. Like, Hanzo wants to come over here, so you could double stack snipers, but, you know, I think it's fine to just kind of let that Hanzo take that angle over there while you sit here. And then as soon as your team gets a little bit of progress, you know, as soon as they get to here and their team's backed up here, that's when I want to see a rotation from you, preferably over here, you know. This is just a strong spot to peek as Widow. Widow controls main a lot. You know, you don't really see Widow controlling left or right lane or flanks or whatnot. It's just not very common. Widow is really powerful main because main is always where the fight is happening for the most part. And so you always want to have eyes on and controlling that fight and where it's happening and making their team, you know, like making their team's life pretty hard. You know, because they just don't, you people don't want to peek a Widow. So yeah, this is still fine. Still fine. Ooh, that sucks for your Hanzo. Now we're all peeling for this Bastion, so I mean this Bastion gets traded for sure, that's fine. Tank is still a little bit too far up, so I'm still fine with you being here. Yeah, that's fine. And we're just being patient. The other thing you could do if you want to change up your positioning at this point is, you know that they're coming in, they're pushing in, this Junkrat's being maybe a little bit greedy. You could grapple up here and maybe hope that somebody swings a corner on you. You know, that's an alternative. Other than that, there really aren't a whole lot of other positions for you to be playing right now. With Widow, you can play either one of two ways, really. You can play with the surprise element factor where, oh my god, what the hell is that Widow doing there? That doesn't make any sense, which can be really effective if you can get a kill. And then there's the other default, I'm going to play main and just, you know, threaten my existence to everybody. You know, so that's kind of what we're doing more of right now. It is totally fine to mix it up, you know. You can play one way or you can adopt the other play style halfway through, mix it up, change it, you know. What's the word I'm looking for? My god, my brain's not working. I'm just going to say unexpected. That's obviously not the word I'm looking for, but you want to catch them by surprise if you want to be effective, you know, on almost any hero. On almost any hero, not just Widow. Nice shot. It's a really, you know, just swing that corner with your crosshair placement already being perfect. And it's an easy shot, so good job. And we're doing the same thing here. Good job. Yep, it's fine. We hear Hazard to our left. Good job. Yep. Yep. This Haz should die. No, nobody on your team cares. That's tough. Careful about walking too far forward here. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't feel good, right? Like, what are we doing over here? This doesn't feel good. We just fell into this trap of we pressed W for so long that, you know, now we're at the cart. That doesn't feel good. We don't want to be here. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Our team's not pushed up. Our Hazard's kind of caught out. Or our Ram is cut out. Their Hazard is making a rotation. So, like, don't, you know, like, this is weird. This is weird. Fair. I mean, their Hazard's, you know, playing pretty well, aside from the fact that nobody on your team cares about him, but he is doing a good job of controlling those really close angles and spaces and using his abilities to either get out or engage. He's playing Hazard like decently. He's playing decently. Yeah, this is fine. We just saw Hazard move back. Just be careful. Just be careful. Your team is obviously pushed up, so, you know, this is a good time to engage. But again, I don't know if I'd engage quite that way. I would probably look to come down here because realistically, if you can be the farther away you can be from your target on Widow, the better, right? That's just Widow 101. You want to be as far away as possible while being a threat. So as long as they're not like 100 meters away or whatever Widow's fall off range starts at, then you're golden. You want to create that distance because you don't want to get caught off guard. You don't want to get dove. You don't want to take random damage. Like you just want to be kind of doing your own thing. So this is a really aggressive position to be playing Widow. When we could be doing the same thing and probably would be doing more, honestly, here, because Widow is just, as I said, kind of like a main bot character. She's just good at controlling main. Which is probably why, by the way, when I was a Widow OTP, I was hard stuck plat. Because I didn't have to learn positioning. I didn't have to learn movement. I didn't have to learn aim outside of just Widow. I didn't have to learn about anything whatsoever. I just sat in the back, shot people in the head, and called it good enough. I never escaped plat. But, you know, as soon as I started picking up other heroes and learning the game a little bit more, Diamond, Masters, GM, you know, like, I can't really say GM because I've only hit it once. But Diamond was a breeze. Masters is my home. But I'm slowly climbing. You know, I used to be just a M5 scrub, but here we are consistently sitting around M1 now, so that's good. Yep, nice shot.
Distance is no obstacle to accuracy.
So let's just think about it real quick. Pop quiz. Where's this cart going to be when they want to take the fight? I don't know. I mean, we just got a nice big stagger, so maybe they don't even engage. But if they do, where do we want to be? You know, this isn't a horrible spot to play as Widow, but it's a little bit better suited for Hanzo or Ashe. So there's always just come back here, sit back here, or sit all the way back here and watch this. If you really think people are going to engage that way, this is probably a little bit too close. You could probably get away with it, especially with how far forward your team is. But I don't know. We're a little bit too close to where the fight could happen if they decide to engage. They're not. The tank makes a nice play. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. So that's a nice play, I guess, from Hazard. I don't know. It's whatever. Keyboard Warrior. Yep. It's fine. Yep. Sure. Now, I don't know why your Hanzo is playing like a Widow. Like, Hanzo is a sniper, but he's not this type of sniper. This doesn't really make sense. Maybe your Hanzo is actually a Widow player, so he's just conditioned to playing like Widow. Like, he just dies. He just immediately dies. Well, okay. Well, he learns that he needs to probably play a little bit closer, but then, what the hell is this? Yo, your Hanzo's actually throwing.
Flew right into my web.
Yeah, you're just really close to tank, but you want to make something happen. You get a nice pick on the Pharah, and then you get a nice pick on the Ana. Yep. It's fine. That sucks. Yeah, your only other option for disengage is, you know, you need to expect this Hazard to dive you because you are playing pretty close to him, so just be prepared to come back here. Just be prepared to come back here. This is much safer disengage than walking main. Now, obviously, you felt like you were safe because you're surrounded by your team, but realistically, you are just grappling out into the open when you could have just grappled to this health pack and been totally fine and not exposed yourself to any other angles. I'm surprised they're still on Pharah. Not gonna lie. Are we gonna see any sick jump shots from you, Sai? And jump shots, by the way, are that part of that other playstyle where you go, why the hell is the Widow there? Because, you know, you want to catch them off guard. You want to catch them by surprise. So people who are paying attention to Widows will often listen for that grapple sound effect and be like, okay, well, we don't necessarily know where the Widow is, but she's going to be going in the air really soon. So now I'm going to mix up my movement. I'm going to turn my head away, you know, depending on where they are, whatever. But still, it's a threat, and you are potentially catching people off guard.
Justice reigns from
Yeah, nice patience. Sure. I think that might be the first time I've seen you use mine. I also struggle with that when I play Widow. Is I'll just completely forget about mine, but especially with the perks, her mines are actually really good now. Like that venomous mine or whatever they call it, where it can poison over and do damage over time, which I mean it already does, but it does more, right? Like it launches a little, I don't know what they call it, whatever, you know. But mine, and I think she got buffed, right? Post season 1 patch or whatever, her mines got buffed, so they're actually really strong. So I'm glad that you use mine. Maybe it's okay if you're expecting them to flank or somebody to drop over here, but if you're not using mine to cover your own butt, right? So let's say maybe you're up here, which probably is where you should be, by the way, and you didn't want to have to worry about this angle, you know, just walk over here, throw mine right there, and that's perfectly acceptable because then you are protecting yourself, right? And so that's a really good use case for mine. The other one is just put it in a position where it's just going to be annoying. You know, like just Not that you could get up here, but, you know, put it in a position where they are 100% going to go, or an angle that you want to close off. This doesn't really do that because yeah, maybe somebody comes this way. I don't know. I would much rather you use it to save yourself, or a different angle, like maybe over here. Like you sit up here, you're staring down this way, and you just throw mine over here, because this is a lot more realistic for them to go on this rotation here. It's just significantly shorter, and it usually provides a lot more valuable angles on the enemy team, in your case your team. So I would like to see like a mine right here, preferably. But anyway, yeah, that mine's kind of a waste. And people just, you know, they kind of think about it, they're like, whatever, like it's just mine, like it doesn't do anything. It matters, trust me. That's tough. Yay! That's so funny that your mic got value here. Oh, that's so funny. You know, if you saw the future, you know, if you saw the future there, Sai, I got no complaints.
A fine execution. Oh, thank you.
I'm spamming that shift key if I'm in your shoes right now. Yeah, that sucks. Your Ana sucks so well. Oh. Yep, he's back.
No one can hide from my sight.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, sure. It really only helps you, obviously, which it's fine. I think Widow's ult should be used pretty greedily. I would say though that if you are going to ult, if you're not going to use it greedily, selfishly, and you intend to use it selflessly, then this isn't really an appropriate time to use it selflessly, because your tank's already up here and your supports are up here and they're already fighting, so they're already worried about whatever the hell is happening over here. They don't have time to look around, check flanks, whatever. They're already engaged. They don't care about seeing people through walls right now. So if that's selfless, then it's just not really the appropriate time. If it's selfish, it's still not really the appropriate time, because what are you going to do with this information? What are you expecting to see? What are you expecting to see? We know the fight's happening over here, so we know there's at least a tank over here, right? Probably somebody else, you know? So we already know what's happening over there. Or are we worried about somebody just being a rat right here? Well, that's not where we're looking when we ulted, so it doesn't seem like we're all that concerned about somebody potentially hiding right here, and it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense anyway, but some people might. So what I prefer is you to be almost in a really strong position, an advantageous position for you as Widow, which would probably look something like either defaulting main botting coming up this way, and then maybe when you get like right around here and you know you are swinging some space where the fight is happening, then you pop alt right here so that you can swing immediately and know where they are. Or if you want to go crazy sicko mode, you know, you could just come over here and on a walk up here or rotation or whatever, you know, do the same thing, you know, press alt so you get some vision before you round a corner blind, which is definitely more important if you're going for a crazy play. So anyway, keep that in mind. Just as alt, like the first 3, 4, maybe even 5 or 6 seconds of this alt are wasted. Like, is that, I don't know, like, is that anything you wouldn't have done? Probably not, right? Your team wins this fight. And you probably wanted to come up here anyway, because you'd see your team running through the walls, you'd see the kill feed. You'd be like, oh, okay, well, I can just come up here because we're all pushing forward, we're winning, so I'm just going to grapple up here. So the fact that you can see this bash in before you come up here, it's kind of like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. Let's see this. I want to see this shot. That fire is stupid as hell. Alright, continue. Nice shot, though. It's not an easy shot to hit, believe it or not. Like, she's... Even though she's rounding this corner on you with walls, she is flying and moving in the air. You know, she's not just walking in a straight line. So, you know, it's actually, it's not a bad shot. Good job. Okay, so where do I want to see you put mine? Take a guess. Either over here, to protect yourself from the flank, or somewhere like up here where it's annoying and you're guaranteed to get value from it, right?
60 seconds remaining.
But we need to put it down. We need to put it down. We don't want it to be on cooldown unnecessarily. Like we can use it now, and it will be ready again once it's gone. Or if you want to reposition it or something closer towards the start of this fight. Yeah, see, but like, what is that mine? Like, what is that really, like, you think that's going to stop this hazard from jumping you? Hell no. Hell no, that's not going to do anything. Who cares about this mine? Who cares? So, you know, you might need to work on your mine usage. Alright, so far pretty, you know, pretty cut and dry Widow. Nothing too crazy.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, this mine is better. Why do I like this mine more? Because you're guaranteed to get value from it, and you're doing it really early. It's not happening mid-fight. You're going on a rotation. You're just basically getting some damage out there, building your ult. The only reason I don't like it is because look where you put it. Look where you put it. Like, anybody paying attention is just dead. Much rather seeing that mine stick on this wall right here. So, you know, maybe it still dies, but there's, you know, like, there's no excuse for anybody. Like, there's no excuse for this carry to walk into that. There's no excuse.
Enjoy.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so we're playing the creative sneaky Widow now. I like this. See, and this is what I mean. Switch it up, especially if you think that you're getting too predictable. Maybe that was the word I was looking for earlier. Unpredictable. Yeah, be unpredictable. Yeah, they're just so lost. Like who in their right mind is gonna be like, what the, like, why is there a Widow over there? Like, yeah, that was an expected play. Is their entire team is over here? Yeah, I'm definitely expecting a Widow to come over here. Yeah, obviously not. Nobody's expecting you here. So this is good. Good job. And they obviously still don't recognize that you're over here. And you're getting value, so good job. Yeah, it's fine. Just probably kill yourself in the game. Oh, that's sick. Nice. Yeah, this is worth it. It's worth it only because you got that on a kill. I mean, you couldn't have predicted that. They still trigger your mind. Yeah, I mean, nice trade. Nice trade. But I like that. I like to see you taking that really weird angle that you normally wouldn't see a Widow on and you wouldn't expect a Widow to take.
30 seconds remaining. The payload is approaching its destination.
Yeah, don't get caught up with this guy. Like, you know, you've taken a shot at him now, so like from his perspective, why on earth would he ever round that corner? Like, why the hell would he try to take an engagement against you? He knows where you are now. He knows where you're looking, or where you were last looking, which, by the way, if a Widow takes a shot at me and misses and I didn't know where she was, you know, I'm just assuming that she is there staring me down until I see or hear her move or a shot go way elsewhere. And by the way, one of the strategies I used when I was a Widow one trick was I would purposefully just take a shot at nothing far away. Like, I just, you know, if my intention was to kill this Junkrat, obviously you're not in a position to do so, but I'm just throwing a random shot out here, and then I'm turning my attention back to Junk because I want them to think that I'm not paying attention to them anymore, and which causes them to get cocky and potentially peek me. So that's a strategy that will be used sometimes. But it's not worth it to waste your time sitting here against this Junk who probably won't re-peek you, when we need to be taking this angle and helping our team over here. So that's good. We're just a little late recognizing that.
10 seconds.
So probably should have used ult here. Probably should have used it. For one, good job ignoring Junkrat, but you still want to know where this guy is, right? Because you don't want to get surprised by him. So good job ignoring him, good job swinging, but pretty much now is when you want to use these walls, because you want to have like half an eye on this junk, but also you can't see everything here, and you can feel that, right? You can feel that, and you see it in your gameplay here, where these guys duck around the corner and go over here and over here, but you don't have sights on them. But it would be really, really valuable for you to have sights, because if they cross into your field of view, you know, they're just one shot. Like, you just kill them immediately. So like now the Curie's out of sight, and now, you know, the hazard and the junk are not in your sight.
I am on fire.
And at least now we know where the Junkrat is. But you know, look at this. Look at our crosshair placement, which is, by the way, fine. It's good crosshair placement. You know, it looks like you're looking in case they swing this way, which is, you know, good job. It's fine. But if you had seen this Junkrat through the walls, this wouldn't be a missed shot. There, you just immediately headshot him. Now your Bastion's paying attention and doing a good job, but yeah, careful with the holding W syndrome here. So I know that we're 1 meter away from winning, but is there really a benefit to you being all the way up here versus all the way back here? Maybe. I mean, you could see potentially maybe a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but you know, I don't think so. Just careful with the holding W. All right, back on Ashe. Hey, hold on. We just crossed the hour mark. We have 4 minutes left. Okay, and we're back on Widow.
Attackers incoming.
So I'm just gonna let this go at 2x, and if I notice anything, I'll stop. Nice shot. Yep, Hazard's doing the same thing he was last round. Your team doesn't really care. Yeah, this doesn't feel good, right? Because there's a bunch of stuff happening over here. And I understand you really want to push up and help your team, which I think is fine. I think it's fine that you're pushing up and helping your team. Your tank's wanting to get aggressive, your Bastion is pushing up. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. But don't come over here where they all are. Don't come over here. This is a time when, you know, you might want to come down this way. And even though this isn't a great Widow angle, at least you aren't putting yourself in front of their tank and whoever else is over here, you know, because you can't see everything. You can't react to everything. You never want to put yourself in a position where you're caught off guard. So by moving this way, you absolutely are. You have absolutely no idea what's happening behind you. And so why do that when you can just walk here? You can just walk here. I don't care. SMG that's on to the death. I don't care. You don't need to take a scope shot. Just, you know, mirror your tank's intentions, which you are doing, but respect the boundaries that their team are enforcing on you, or theoretically should be enforcing. Just because you should automatically be like, oh, they're over there. Well, I'm Widow. I'm like 100 HP and some change. I probably don't want to put myself in a position where I'm taking that fight without knowing what's happening. So, I want to see you come over here. Alternatively, you could come over here. And yes, it creates a little bit more distance, but you also have to understand what they're playing, which is Hazard. So this isn't really any better, because this Hazard just comes out here, he sees you sitting up here staring down range, and it's the same thing as you standing here, essentially, with the exception of your death is slightly more expensive because he probably would invest the slash cooldown, so you would get a cooldown out of your death. But yeah, you know, that's just, you can be doing a lot more. Yeah, so I mean, it's just a rotation problem. This is just space and distance management from tank and team, and you're squishy as hell. You're the squishiest hero besides Tracer, right? Well, actually, wow, what got buffed to 225? When did that happen? Actually, didn't know that. Like, she used to be 175. Whatever. So you're not as squishy as you once were, as I thought you were, but you're still a squishy. You're still a squishy, and you're not built for anything happening like this. You're never going to live a tank dive on Widow ever.
The flames of liberation rise.
Okay. Don't go too far up. Yeah, it's fine. Yep. That sucks. That was a lot of damage. What does this Ana have? Oh, she headshot you. That sucks.
We are outnumbered.
I mean, at this point, though, Sai, like, just pop your ult here. Just pop your ult. You're down 1. Just give yourself and your team all the information that you possibly can. Your ult's not going to make the difference, obviously, but, you know, maybe by some miracle, some act of God, it allows one of your teammates to do something. It allows you to do something that can turn this fight around, but we're just holding ult. And our team is dying around us. So, like, maybe this Bastion doesn't do this if he knows where everybody is. Maybe. I don't know. Probably he still does, because, you know, he's Bastion. he's your Bastion, I should say. Anyways, let's keep going. Back on to Ashe. Yeah, I mean, if you want to start over here, fine, but obviously we need to be here prior to the enemy team walking out of spawn. I don't mind you coming over here. I think it's fine as long as you rotate really early. But at least we don't continue on that rotation, because there's just no way we get over there, right? That sucks.
I needed that.
And you're mad about it.
I needed that.
I can tell you were pissed. Look at where we're playing, Sai. What are we doing? What are we doing? Stop. You can do everything you're doing right now from here. From here, it's just safer. It's just safer. And you did a really good job of this on your first time you defended. You were playing, instead of over here like the last VOD I did for you, you were really minimizing and cutting off angles, which I don't think I mentioned after restarting the recording, but that was one thing I really liked in the original recording, was that you weren't playing up here and you weren't exposing yourself to all sorts of different angles. You were playing back here. You were playing back here and you were shooting them here. So you had vision on the 2 angles that damage could be coming from, and you didn't have to worry about anybody coming over here or through there. So that was really nice. But now we're just kind of standing out in the open. Why? Let me just... Your tank gets greedy. That's a really nice wall from Hazard. Yeah, you're just trying to help your tank out here, whatever. Let's not fall off that high ground. That was scary. That was actually really scary. What does this have? Where's his key? He has lead. Oh, he just didn't see you. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if this sees you, you probably die because you fall off there. Oh, no, he does see you. He sees you right now. Does he get scared by dynamite? What is that wall? I don't know. It's whatever. That's scary though. See how much we're moving right now? I get it. It's overtime. You're panicking. You're trying to do a lot, but who's shooting you? Who's shooting you? Bastion's shooting you. Now he's not. Nobody's shooting. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's shooting 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 you. Nobody. Only the Bastion is shooting you at this point. It's a nice pick. You could have gotten so much more value there, Sai, if you just stand still. You definitely get at least another pick. 'Cause you're just making your life so hard. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, the biggest thing you need to work on by far from this VOD, is your ability usage, specifically your E usage on both heroes, on both Ashe and Widowmaker. We need to be using dynamites a lot more proactively. We're just kind of saving them a lot unnecessarily. We're not taking advantage of opportunities where they can be really strong. And then with Widow, like a lot of these mines just don't make sense. We're just like pressing E because we can, and then when we do have the opportunity to press E in a better position, we're just not. We're not putting a mine up here. We're not putting a mine over here. Now, I tend to think you kind of got a little lucky with this mine right here. But, you know, it's whatever. We're not putting a mine over here. No, we're getting pushed, and then we're putting a mine in front of ourselves. It's just not really valuable. It's not really valuable. So, yeah, that's what I would really advise you on working on. Especially, it was 100% a criminal offense on your first defense, where their entire team is just walking up through here. They're all clumped, all four of them. The hazards up here, and you're just holding dynamite. When this is the use case for dynamite, like it's playbook use case. You can't imagine a better scenario than what you were given, and we just didn't do it. And we held it, and we held it, and we held it, and we got forced out. We still, like, obviously we can't use it because we're running away, but then we've just been playing Ashe this entire point with a handicap. So, you know, let's use our abilities appropriately and more often. Now, it's fine if you're saving them for some reason. Like if you have a reason in your mind, like, okay, I don't know if you saw on in my self review on this map, I don't think I was thinking about it, but I could have been. And this is an example where I think it would be acceptable. You remember how I was up here backing away and their Genji was up here? If you watch this video, their Genji was up here. I knew the Genji had blade. I don't remember what I was thinking. I can't say one way or another. I don't think I was. I don't know. But if I had been thinking about it, if I had been thinking, okay, this Genji has blades, so therefore I am going to hold my dynamite because I want to dynamite him specifically, then that's fine. You know, that's fine. That's fine. And it worked out really well because lo and behold, this Genji climbs up here, he pops his ult, I throw a dynamite here in anticipation of his dive. He does indeed dive. I coach, which detonates the dynamite and pushes him away at the same time, and he dies. So it worked out, and that is an example of a use case where I'm fine if you're just holding dynamite for something like that. But let's not, if you're holding dynamite over here with, you see this hazard and you're like, okay, oh, this hazard's probably going to dive me, so I'm going to hold dynamite for the full HP hazard. No, doesn't make any sense. What is dynamite going to do to full HP hazard? You know? So that's what I want to see you work on. Just really, like, it doesn't even have to be super intentional use of your abilities, but just use them whenever, like, you see a good opportunity. Think about what your abilities can do really well and use them, you know? So that was by far your biggest weakness. Now, in terms of why you lost this game, Sai, I don't know. I mean, you played well, you know, compared to everybody else in the lobby, for sure. For sure. You just were objectively probably one of the stronger people here, and I think the scoreboard, you know, helps see that. You know, you're definitely better, in my opinion, than your other DPS. Your other DPS died a lot, but they were trying to do some sneaky stuff. Like when your junk died over here, I mean, it sucks. It sucks. It's not really on him though, because he was just trying to be a rat and make a play to help his team, and he just, you know, it was unfortunate that their team rotated through here and caught him off guard. So it's not really his fault. He wasn't just feeding and inting, but he was trying to make a play. He was trying to do something. So I respect that, even though it really didn't work out. Yeah, but I still think you were definitely a strong player in this lobby. But you weren't, I'll be honest, you were not impactful enough to dictate the flow and the outcome of this game. You might look at this and be, what do you mean? I'm 40 and 13 with 17,000 damage. Well, yeah, but, you know, why aren't you 41 and 12 with 18,000 damage? Why aren't you 42 and 11 with 19,000 damage? Why aren't you 55 and 15 with 22,000 damage like your tank? You know, there are all these opportunities in every single game, no matter how good you are, to have done something better. And because of that, you know, you aren't the reason you lose this game, but you aren't the reason you win it. Obviously, you don't win it. So you weren't impactful enough. And it feels bad because you're like, oh my God, well, my Junkrat was he was nothing. I was fighting 4v5 the entire game. Yeah, I know, it sucks sometimes. But in order to win this game, you needed to do more. And I hope I have covered, you know, a lot of these opportunities and things that you could have been doing to have done more. Done more? That's funny because that's where I live. Anyways, work on your ability usage. That was definitely a big contender of, you know, not doing enough, not being impactful enough, because we just weren't using our abilities very often. You know, we weren't using them at like the perfect times to have used them either. So I think if you had probably just been better with your abilities this game, Sai, I think you would have had a lot more pressure and probably would have won this game. I think that was probably your biggest weakness and the reason ultimately that you lost. Now, again, I don't think it's on you for losing this game by any means. Absolutely not. No, it's not your fault you lost. But as I said, you could have done more. And if you had, you would have won. So hopefully that was helpful. And thank you for the VOD. And I'm going to relax now. It's now 8 o'clock. And I hope to see another VOD from you in the future with some refined focus on your abilities. So until then, I will see you later. For anybody who has made it to the end of this video, thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate that very much. I hope I'm able to help some other people out. You know, it's nice to see some new faces sometimes too. So if you ever want coaching for yourself, don't be shy. You know, visit my website. It's linked in the description. It's coachnoahvz.com. And you can sign up with your Battle.net account. You don't need an account with me. It's just a BNet account. So if you play Overwatch, which you probably do if you're watching this video, you know, it's free to sign up. And you can get some free coaching from me as well. So I'm in the process of working on a new update to the website, which will expand the hero pool. At the moment, it's just Soldier, Reaper, Ashe, and Cassidy. But I'm planning on supporting almost every single hero up to certain ranks. So what I mean by that is for somebody like Echo, who I have played, but I have only played Echo myself in Diamond, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to, you know, maybe Plat, maybe Diamond is the rank I'm willing to coach up to for Echo. So something like that. And then there are other heroes where I just don't play them, like Ball and Mercy. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be supporting heroes like that right now. But anyways, that's an update coming to the website. So hopefully within the next couple weeks, that'll be pushed out, and then I can offer coaching for a lot more than what I am just now. So anyways, y'all have a really good night or morning or afternoon or whatever, and I will see you in the next review. All right, take it easy.